control and other forms of contraceptives have been around for a very, very long time, more than you would know. Here we have the many different types of contraceptives over the past years. And here we have the more modern ones. Did you know that the pill came out in 1960, May 9th, condoms in 1855, and the Romans actually used to use the bladder of animals for contraceptives. Now, isn't that crazy how there's many different types of birth control throughout all these years? Here are the more modern ones, such as the IUD, the Depo-Vera, and they are coming out with new non-hormonal birth controls. You know, you would think that after all this time of having this many types of birth control, sex education and health and easier access to birth control would be a lot better. Sadly, it is not. I believe that birth control and sex health are still pushed aside and tabooed today. We're in 2021 and people still have a hard time talking about sex health. I believe that we should have easier access to birth control and other contraceptives and awareness about sexual health. Now, where to start with this problem? The problem I believe that exists within our society is it's very still difficult to get birth control and other forms of contraceptives and sex health in general. The cost of it without insurance can cost an arm and a leg. And sex health is still looked down upon. According to Advocates for Youth, like condoms and emergency contraceptive, the pill should be available over the counter, as in over 100 countries around the world. If you see here, these are all the other countries and continents that allow birth control over the counter. And then these are the ones that have no info. Now if you look closely, here's the United States. We only accept birth control by RX only. You have to have a doctor's permission to get any form of birth control. Talkmira says without insurance, birth control can cost up to $50 for the pill, $300 for the implant, and $1,300 for an IUD. As you can see here, these are the many different types of contraceptives and birth controls. Birth control pills can be up to $50 without insurance, but can be $0 if you have it. Condoms can be around $2 per a person, but without insurance, it can be $0. For my personal experience, when I was going to pick up my prescription, before I had given them my insurance, my birth control had costed around $80. Now, NCBI says the U.S. ranks first among developed nations in rates of both teen pregnancies and STDs. To combat this, the U.S. funded abstinence-only programs for sex ed for over a decade. Now, if you look here, this is a map of the high teenage birth rates associated with abstinence-only education. In California, we have a pretty low rate, but if you look at these other states, it's a lot higher. And if you see here, these are the ones that have the abstinence-only education. This one is where it says states where education, if provided, must include information on abstinence, but not on contraception. Now what that means is these states are allowed to include information on the abstinence, but not the facts about how to be safe from it. Now, you may be thinking, we're in California. We're a very progressive state. We have many different ways of easy access to birth control. In California, we have easier access by Planned Parenthood, delivery services, and we have great progressive sex ed. But this is still a problem within other states besides ours. Insurance can still cost an arm and a leg, and it's still an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people. Now, what I believe what we can do to fix this problem is we should federally fund Planned Parenthood, and it will provide access and talks regardless of restrictive access. And we should also update our sex education. Updating sex education can help so many people, and federally funding Planned Parenthood can do the same. We propose a bill for Congress to do this. Now, you may be thinking, has this worked before? According to GSE, harvard.edu, updating sex ed prevents and counters gender stereotypes, minimizes sexual harassment and assault, and according to Shift, protects students from sexual assault after high school. Updating sex ed helps people feel more included, makes them feel heard, makes them more comfortable with who they are and how to understand their bodies. Now, federally funding you may think would hinge states' rights. States' rights are held in a very high regard, which is understandable. But reproductive health is health care, and it's a right for all. Medicare is offered in all 50 states, but isn't considered overstepping. If we federally fund Planned Parenthood and push for sexual health to easier access, this will be a bright future for teens and healthcare for American citizens regardless of location. If we need to educate sexually active people on their terms of birth control and what to do. No more taboos, no more uncomfortability. Sex health is our right. It has to be more open. We can make the difference. Advocacy starts with you.